Hey guys, what I'm about to do today now is I'm going to punch holes in the plastic with this. This is a piece of equipment that actually bolts up to an implement that you pull behind your tractor. You can set it so that the holes are spaced in whatever variance you want. I've got it on all of them as close as I can get it. And that's because of the beets, I want them as close as I can get them in the row. If you wanted to space them out, all you have to do is just remove it however many you want, put it in whatever space you want, lock them in. So it's a pretty handy tool. I don't have the implement that pulls this. Don't really need it. I just hand wheel it across the row and punch my holes that way. So I'm going to show you how that's done. And then I'm going to get the seed bed ready for the beets to go into it. I also have the drip line pressurized right now. The water is going, and that's so that if I accidentally puncture it with these metal prongs, I'll know about it and I can fix it immediately before I put the seeds in. That's one row. Now I'll do the other. One thing about it, it does wear your back out, bending over pushing this thing. It's not light. It's pretty thick, heavy gauge sheet metal. Now we'll come back down. All right, got that done. So these rows happen to be really close to 100 feet. So if there's 2 rows in each one, I've got 400 feet of beets. But like I mentioned before, I'm thinking about trying an extra row and just seeing how that works so I can maximize how much I get. Breathing heavy, but whew, that's heavy. So I'll try it on one. If I'm not happy with it, I'm not going to do any more. Really, it's kind of experimental, so I'd rather not go too far. So I'll try one more row. All right, the next step that we need to do is put potting soil in each of the holes. The reason why I do that is because if I just filled the dimple in, that indention that we made with that wheel with dirt, I'm going to end up putting dirt that has weed seeds in it, and then the weeds will compete with the beets. So I like to use potting soil because it's sterile, there's no weed seed in it, and it's just a great way to get the seeds started. This was used earlier this year to start my onions, and because I've opened the bag, I've lost the moisture in it, so it's pretty hard, and I need to add some moisture to it and mix it up so that I can get the seeds started. Otherwise, it takes forever. If I put this in there dry, then it takes a long time for it to absorb the moisture from the drip line that's going right now. And so I'm going to speed that process up. I'm going to put it in the wheelbarrow, put some water in, and kind of chop it up and blend it to get the moisture content back up to where it makes a good seed bed when I put it in the holes. I put a lot of water in because the vermiculite in it is really dry and they need a lot of water to absorb and fill up. I don't want it soupy, but it's going to take a lot of water. Man, that was about 8 gallons. Okay, now I'll just go along and kind of shovel it in, and then I'll take a broom and spread it kind of like a squeegee into the hole. The water's going right now, and so this side over here on the far right is filled up with water. I think if I were to put this in right now, it would just float and come out of the hole. So I'll do the left side first. And I'll just kind of spread it to get an idea of what it's going to do. So I'll fill them in, and then I'll drag off the excess. And I'm not going to plant my seeds today. I've got to let the water soak in so the seeds don't just float away. As long as the soil's moist, that's all I need. So I'll let it dry out for a day. All right, guys, I just want to go over maybe what we're doing when we plant the seeds, and I'll show you what the seeds look like. They're quite large. These are beets, and so what we do is, like, ideally it would be great to just have one beet in every hole, and then you'll get a really large one because they're not competing with each other. Problem with that is not every seed will germinate and sprout. So I like to put a couple in, and yeah, that means I'll have a cluster of beets. You can always thin them out and pluck out the extras and leave one, but I don't do that. In such a large area, I'll just let whatever comes up come up, unless there's a ton of them. Maybe I drop too many seeds in, but you can do this however you want. And so now that we've got the potting soil in and we watered it down, we'll just kind of dig a little hole with our finger, pinch off a few in our finger and drop them in and cover it up, and we'll go down the whole row and up and down it. I try to only go up one side and then go down the other because it's too easy to miss. If I go back and forth, maybe I get distracted or I need to grab another handful. I'll forget where I left off, and then I leave a space, or I double plant a hole and then I've got too many in it. So that way you don't run into mistakes when you're planting. After we get this planted, in a couple weeks, you know, and weather determines everything. We could have a cold spell that slows things down, or if things are the way they are now, where even though we have cold evenings, either near freezing or below freezing, the days have been really sunny and warm, and the plastic will help heat up the soil and speed the process up, and they could sprout within 2 weeks, or whatever the germination rate is on this particular kind of crop. So weather plays a big factor, and whatever it is you're planting, you know, everything germinates at different rates. Germinate meaning will sprout. So some things are faster than others. Some things take a long time. But generally that's about what it'll take. And then later I'll do a video and update you on how things are progressing in the garden, what's been sprouting. I know I need to plant another row of radishes once they sprout. And so I'll talk about that later. But so let's get this planted. All right, guys, we got it all planted. I had some help from my wife and my son. And if you're wondering how much seed I went through, we got 5 rows, so roughly 500 feet of beets. And they're spaced approximately 6 to 8 inches apart. This was a 1 pound bag, and I've used up half of it. So about a half a pound of seed to do this. And so that concludes this video of what we did the past couple of days, planting beets and getting it ready. So be sure to watch our next video, where we're going to go down to the other side of the garden a little bit, and we're going to plant all of the leafy greens, like different varieties of lettuce, spinach, Swiss chard. It's kind of the same process. And so I'll talk about why I have these separated into different areas of the garden as well. I'll talk about that later. But as always, we appreciate you watching. We're grateful to see our support growing. We're learning as we go, and your comments have helped us a lot. And I've tried to include a lot of things that you've requested and explain a little bit more of what we do, and instead of skipping over some of it. And even though I know I'm not perfect, but your thoughts and comments and feedback are really helpful to us, so we appreciate that. So we'll see you again on the next one. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Thanks.